Pilates the most controversial workout ever. Black people can't do Pilates, fat people can't do Pilates.
My studio is not for everyone.
She's kicked out of a Pilates studio, and it's because I came out as bisexual.
Pilates is not a white woman's sport. To try to gatekeep exercising is crazy.
I've experienced discrimination not once but twice at the same Pilates studio, and it came to the point where I just stopped going.
All of these Pilates instructors don't really have a nice body.
If you're 200 pounds, you shouldn't be in a Pilates class. You shouldn't be allowed to be a Pilates instructor if you have a gut.
You want to go to a Pilates class? Didn't you hear? Pilates is a luxury. It's designer. There is no diversity in Pilates, babe. That's what influencer Pilates by Raven went on TikTok to tell us all this month.
As someone whose entire business is about providing accessible and affordable Pilates to a diverse demographic of women, what are some words that you think about when you think of like a really nice designer brand? I think of legacy, think about craftsmanship, and that's why we pay top dollar, we pay our top coins for these designer items, right? Like you would never walk into Bottega and be like, where's the diversity? Where's the accessibility? Babe, there is no accessibility. This is Bottega, okay? I want you to think the same way about Pilates. And I know a lot of us who've just gotten into this, or maybe we're new instructors, we haven't been trained. Pilates is a legacy, okay? People have worked generations to preserve this method of exercise. Even just training an instructor classically through a good program takes 500 hours minimum, okay? Nothing about Pilates is giving cheap. I do want some of the Pilates newbies to think a little bit more critically before we come on here talking about, okay.
And after watching that whole mess, I really don't know how she thought her video would land well. Like, she really thought people would be like,
Yeah, girl, so relatable. Someone had to say it.
Especially considering who her target audience is. She literally said in the beginning of her video that her whole brand is providing affordable and accessible Pilates to women of a diverse demographic. Who do you think is watching your videos? You're aiming at a diverse demographic of women, but telling them why Pilates is not for them? She makes her point of why Pilates is expensive and not diverse by comparing it to Bottega, a luxury designer brand. This was not a good analogy at all. You cannot compare expensive designer items to exercise that uses the body weight, something that's free, and that is aimed at improving core strength and posture, something that we can all benefit from, no matter what your status is in society. And yeah, while the equipment and the reformers that are used now are expensive, it's not necessary. You can do Pilates just with your body weight on a mat for free. Exercise is not a luxury, it's an instinctive and natural human behavior. And I just want to know where she got this idea from, especially considering that she's a Pilates instructor, because even if you just do a quick Google search on the history of Pilates, you will know that it has very humble beginnings. It was developed by Joseph Pilates while he was in prison for prisoners to rehab them when they were injured. The entire point of his method was accessibility. Injured people, old people, kids, anyone can do Pilates and benefit from them. And she's a Pilates instructor, so I'm assuming that she knows the history of Pilates, which makes it way crazier that she would imply that Pilates isn't really meant to be accessible or diverse at its roots, and that it's more of a luxury space, something that people shouldn't expect to be cheap. Pilates is a legacy. Translation: Pilates is luxury. People have worked generations to preserve this method of exercise. Translation: Pilates is gatekept for people with money.
Top dollar.
And she makes the point that to train an instructor through a good program, it takes 500 hours minimum.
Minimum, okay?
Girl, what? The Petco certification to become a pet groomer is 800 hours, by the way. And I'm not here to diminish the education of Pilates instructors. There's a lot that goes into being a good instructor, and I get that. But making this comparison of how long the certification takes and correlating that to how accessible and diverse it should be is complete bigotry. 500 hours is like a 3-month certification. A cosmetology license can literally take 1,500 plus hours. Using that logic, us brokies or normies don't have the right to see a doctor, a pharmacist, a dentist, or a nurse. Can you imagine if nurses gatekept their care like that? You pull up to the hospital with a broken leg just for the nurse to tell you, I went to school for 1,000,000 hours, babe.
Minimum, okay?
I can't help you. That's just not how it works. You can't gatekeep things like that. Services from professions that take many hours to complete are typically expensive. Yes, I get that. But that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be accessible to a diverse demographic of people, especially when it comes to people's health. The real and only reason why Pilates is not accessible is because of the real differences in how it's been branded and how it's priced compared to, say, a gym membership or a fitness class. And just because Pilates has been hijacked by privileged individuals, rich white ladies, and has become a cult for mean girls, it doesn't mean that it's justifiably inaccessible and not meant to be diverse, like Raven tried to tell us in her hot take. The definition of diverse is the practice or quality of including or involving people from a range of different social and ethnic backgrounds, and of different genders, sexual orientations, etc. So if Pilates is not meant to be diverse, that's purely because that mindset was created by people like you. People like this.
I was just kicked out of a Pilates studio, and I'm going to share with you why, because I am 90% sure it's because I came out as bisexual. I am sharing this with you because I'm mad not for myself. I am a wealthy white woman who's married to a man, and I have 4 children. I have so much privilege in our society. But for everybody else who's having to deal with this in 2025. So I get a call from the owner of the Pilates studio I go to, and I think she's telling me class is canceled. It's not. She's telling me, she said, hey, I've been looking at your social media recently. Your values don't align with our studio. We are a safe space. We are a welcoming space. We want everyone, it's sacred here. And I don't think you would make other people feel comfortable. And I asked him, like, oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. Can you tell me what it is or what's changed in my social media that's made you have this opinion? And she said, no, I don't want to get into it. Just our values won't align. We're just going to leave it at that.
Your values don't align with our studio. This is a safe place. Girl, for who? Homophobic people? Because that's what it sounds like. And why does it seem like there's a new Pilates drama every month? This is really not a good look for the community as a whole. With each controversy that comes out, Pilates is steering more and more into the wrong direction. It's already associated to people with a superiority complex and mean girl energy. It doesn't need more of that bad rap. After watching what this girl had to say about Pilates,
If you're 200 pounds, you shouldn't be in a Pilates class. There's no reason why they should allow 200-pound people in a level 2 class. Or you shouldn't be allowed to be a Pilates instructor if you have a gut.
you would think that this would be a wake-up call to the Pilates community to humble themselves, but no, the Pilates mean girls cannot keep their opinions to themselves. Like the time that this girl went to a Pilates class and she said that it was great, she really liked it, but her only complaint was that they were too close to each other, so she couldn't do a lot of the movements, especially when they needed to stretch out. In the studio, instead of apologizing, maybe trying to make it up to her, or maybe giving her advice on how to make it better, they literally treated her like poop and they discriminated her for it.
Okay guys, today I'm going to be talking about Happy Hour Pilates. So we booked their class, we booked their hot sculpt class. There was 3 of us. It's basically mat Pilates and it's like 100 degrees inside. We've been to a hot Pilates class. We already knew what to expect. The class was good, the instructor was amazing. The only complaint that we had is that we felt like the class was overbooked, and so we were so close to each other, so for movements we would bump into our neighbors. We gave them the benefit of the doubt because they're a new studio. My sister took another class with them yesterday with one of her friends. Her friend is a tall queen, so she had the same problem. She couldn't even do half of the moves. So my sister posted on her Instagram stories saying having very mixed feelings about this place. And then they replied, how so? We took this class with Jessica. It was great. The only complaint that we had was how close we were to our neighbor. It was very difficult for her to move and have a correct form. And then she responded with, we are a business and you're booking through a third-party app. We just opened and we'll be phasing classes out to only members if you want a more luxurious experience. All right, we're gonna stop her here. What do you mean we have to pay? Because we're already paying through ClassPass. And basically you just have to pay to get credits, and then you can use those credits in any classes that you want. So it's not like we're going to her classes for free. If you don't like us to book through a third party, why are you even working with ClassPass? And then she continued saying, different classes, different instructors. Your instructor today is the owner, and that's how she rolls. And then my sister continued saying, this is actually not about the money. We're just basically saying what we think about the classes so you could improve your business. And then she said, I'm not sure if we ever come back because of these weird experiences that we're getting. I'm just gonna let you read what she said for a second.
LOL, please don't come back. Save up for a real YSL and have an orgasm? Excuse me? Excuse me, you are a business. The save up for a real YSL really got me because this really shows what type of person they are and where their values are. That's so rude and unprofessional. And this is what she was talking about and how the business responded to other people that were booking through ClassPass.
So this one says the format read much more Pilates than Sculpt, and the instructor was asking for verbal responsive feedback from everyone during class, which I found odd. They replied, "We are a Pilates studio, silly goose. We find your review odd, considering the room is 100 degrees." I don't know who talks like that. What type of business owner talks like that? This one says, wouldn't call this a Pilates class, more like a HIIT sculpt workout with a few moves sprinkled in at the end. Playlist and energy was good. Owner was sitting outside the class as it let out and seemed to be only greeting certain people. Weird. And their response is, "Hi babes, don't forget to read the class descriptions. Come in before class starts and drink your coffee. XOXO gossip girl." Again, very odd. The other one, this is one of my favorite ones. Instructor was great, awesome energy and flow of the class. Studio is cute. The only thing that left a bad taste in my mouth is that the water fountain was not working. And the employee told me they only have some available for purchase and wasn't really welcoming or nice about it. And then they replied, "Bestie, the water is only $3 and high quality. We are not your mom. We are a business." What? Like what? This is also one of my favorite ones. It says, somebody said, "Really disappointed in this class. This was my first experience. We were extremely close together and I accidentally hit someone in the face trying to do the instructor exercise. I wasn't able to get blocks because the class was so overbooked that there wasn't enough equipment. Most likely will not take this specific class again. Loved the studio and the aesthetic and some of the workouts. Just didn't have a great experience that I had hoped for." And then she says, "So you came to class late. 2 stars means you cannot come back." I mean, I am so shocked of their audacity. This one says, "It was okay. I was expecting more, honestly." And I think this is a mic drop moment for her. Like, she really thought she killed it with this comment. She said, "Santa is at the Galleria. Go ask him for what you want."
And when I heard that Pilates improves core strength, flexibility, and posture, that literally sounds like a fitness goldmine to me. That's everything that I would love to improve. But then you have these mean girls trying to gatekeep a form of exercise. Yeah, I don't want any part of that. I'll stick to my free public community gym. And like I said, this is just what happened this month, but it seems like there's a new Pilates drama coming out every single month. Why is Pilates so controversial? And I'll insert some more examples here so you can see what I'm talking about.
So someone lost the ring yesterday, and I'm sorry for accusing you.
No, don't say sorry now. After you text me all this information that I'm the one that stole the ring.
So just take a look.
This is cool.
I'm trying to figure out. See that? So
her socks?
Oh, I put it in my pants.
Right
huh?
there.
I put the ring there, huh?
That's what I'm thinking.
That looks like the floor. That doesn't even.
On this, guys. This is where the ring is. It's in my pants down there.
Yeah.
That's where I needed to go. The lady's ring who's stolen it's me, the black person that came to the gym.
That's not what I'm saying.
That's it.
I've looked at all the videos.
I got banned from my Pilates studio for leaving a 4-star review. After the class, the app itself asks me to leave a review. It's a star rating 1 through 5, and then it gives you a space for comments. And I'm not someone who usually leaves reviews. I don't know what came over me that day, but I decided I would leave a review because the app was pretty insistent that you do so. So I left a review. I was very honest throughout my review. I gave the class 4 out of 5 stars. I started it off by saying a few of the things that I liked about the class, and I ended it by saying a few of the things that I thought could use improvement. I'll paste a copy of my review up for you guys to see, but essentially a few of the things that I noticed throughout the class that I didn't love was that the instructor was demoing a lot of the moves instead of giving verbal cues, and the way that the room was set up made it very hard for me to see her. I had to twist on my reformer to see her, and I just felt like I could have used more verbal cues instead of trying to look and see what she was doing. There were a lot of points in time where I was just sitting there confused about what I was supposed to be doing. Beyond that, a lot of the props that she was using I did not have on my reformer, so my reformer station was not set up for me when the class began. There was one instance where she was using a mat because we were doing a plank on the reformer, and I didn't have a mat, and the surface was like very gritty, so I didn't want to put my forearms on it because I knew it was going to hurt. And that being said, I know I can be a little bit picky at times, and I did enjoy the class overall. In my opinion, a 4 out of 5 star review is still a good review. I thought nothing of it. I went to a class the next day and everything was fine. The day after that, I go back onto the booking software to see if I had gotten off the wait list for another one of the classes that I wanted to go to that day. When I opened up the app, I noticed that I had been unbooked from all the classes that I had previously booked, and when I went into my membership profile, it showed that I no longer had my all access pass in my account. I walk into the studio and I walk up to the front desk. I explain my situation and I ask if this is a computer error and how I can get my pass restored. The woman who responds to me is the owner of the studio and also the lady who I had taken the first reformer class with. She looks me in the eye and tells me that she was the one that had revoked my all access pass because of the review that I left for her on this booking software. My mouth just kind of dropped open in shock. I didn't know what to say. I ended up telling her that I didn't think it was a bad review and that the app had asked me for a review and that's why I did it. And I was just trying to get more of her thought process because I could not comprehend that she was kicking me out of this studio because of a 4-star review that I had written. She tells me that this is her studio's grand opening and she can't have that kind of negative energy within her studio, and that it's a small town and that business is a strategy and she can't have me making a bad name for her business. At this point, I was getting pretty annoyed and upset, so I straight up asked her if she didn't want people to be honest, and she didn't really have a response for that because, of course, no, she doesn't want people to be honest. She told me that she has no control over the reviews in this booking app, which struck me as kind of funny because if you did have control over the reviews, would you just delete every single review that wasn't 5 stars? I then confirm with her that I am not welcome back in this studio, and she tells me that there are a lot of other studios in town that would love to have me.
I've heard way too many negative experiences of people being alienated and treated like outsiders in these Pilates studios. I wouldn't even want to take a chance. I'm terrified. I've never taken a Pilates class, so maybe there's something that I'm missing. I don't know. Why are these Pilates studios so problematic? And if you want to hear me yap more about problematic businesses, check out this video where I talk about why Amazon is the best place to get scammed right now.